I had a tough choice there because I could either provide all of the money for SpaceX or all of the money for Tesla and then increase the chance that one of them would survive.
Welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we'll be talking to you about everything you need to know about debt. Owing a debt itself is like a treadmill. You pay a little credit here or a small loan there, and by the end of it all, you are left with almost nothing. Debt is overwhelming, stressful, heart-wrenching, swamping. And it can take any form across credit cards, medical bills, bank loans, bank overdrafts, and personal loans. Statistics show that an average American owes over $8,701 in credit card debt. An average U.S. resident also earns about $94,800, which is about $7,900 monthly. And still over 41.2% of these households have credit cards. When you look at these numbers, you realize that the debt figure could be enormous. This creates no room for doubt when you see that the total consumer debt in the U.S. is about $14.1 trillion. And that means you and we have some form of debt to worry about, especially if we haven't been making the right decisions. Regardless of the circumstances, it's essential to manage it before it takes over our lives. So what do you need to know about debt? Let's see. But before we get into it, make sure to like this video as it really helps out the channel. Let's get right into the video as there is a lot to cover. What is debt exactly? And does it have a limit? How big is the debt and why do we have so much? Debt is defined as an amount of money borrowed by one party from another. Bonds, loans, credit cards, and commercial paper are just a few examples of debt. It seems so simple, yet debt is higher now than ever before in history, and without changes in action, it will only continue to get worse. Many people think that debt is evil. When you think of the millions of people who have declared bankruptcy and have spent the majority of their life living in debt, you can understand why people believe that debt is evil. With one notable exception, debt is not evil. In fact, debt is not even bad. The problem is how most people use debt. If you are struggling with debt, you must learn the difference between good debt and bad debt, how people fall into debt, how to get out of debt, and the two scenarios where you should not pay off your credit card. Debt is no more evil or bad than any other tool like a hammer. It is the misuse of this financial tool that causes pain and suffering to so many people. If you use debt in the right way, it has the potential to increase your wealth and improve your life. If you use debt in the wrong way, it will take you down the path of financial misery. Let us be clear on what we mean when we say, if you use debt the right or wrong way. 4 factors will determine if you are using debt properly. 1. Type of debt you are using. 2. The purpose of which you are using that debt. 3. How much debt you take on. 4. The interest rate and repayment terms of that debt. These 4 factors are what make the difference between good debt and bad debt. All debt is not created equal. The good debt. The definition of good debt is one that will generate long-term income or grow in value. The obvious example of good debt is borrowing to purchase assets such as a property or a business. Property will most likely grow in value over the long term and has the potential to generate income, as does a business. Student loans can also be included in the good debt category, as the assumption is the degree you earn will positively affect your future income. Likewise, borrowing to purchase tools of your trade is an investment to enable future income. However, don't fall into the trap of trying to justify a want rather than a need. Borrowing to get the newest model just isn't likely to be a necessary or wise move. Nor does new shoes for a job interview count as an investment. Bottom line, if you've thought it through, done the numbers, and decided the debt is a good or necessary investment, then don't lose sleep over signing the loan papers. The bad debt. The bad debt is sadly all the fun stuff. We're talking about the credit card debt racked up on nights out, new outfits, and latest Xboxes. The holiday was paid for with a finance company loan. On TV, online, in print, radio, everywhere you look, there are ads from credit card and finance companies. They bombard you with the messages that you should go ahead and splurge on the new bag, the bike, the holiday. Never mind if you don't have the money, they'll help you out. Ultimately though, you end up paying a lot more than the item is worth thanks to the interest payments, and your ability to both save for a deposit and get approved for a mortgage is affected. The gray debt. Here we leave the nice clear lines of good and bad and enter the murky gray. Car loans are very much in this area. Ideally, you should only buy a car you can pay for with cash. However, if that means getting a car that needs expensive repairs, or a car that breaks down, then it can cost you more in the long run than a loan would have. Vehicle safety is also understandably important to many. For these reasons, a car loan may be the best choice in some circumstances. Generally speaking, microfinance companies are awful. They're predatory and can quickly get people into a hole of debt that is impossible to climb out of. We've all seen the billboards advertising loans at 8% per week, but believe it or not, they originally had a positive purpose. Consider a very simple situation of someone needing to buy a chisel to start a sculpting business. The chisel costs $10, but this client doesn't have any money and the bank isn't interested in lending to them. If they have a chisel, they can make a sculpture a day that will make them $2 profit. Is 8% per week a bad debt in the circumstance? An argument could be made that the interest rate is still predatory, but it has allowed someone to make enough money to make a good profit and gives them an ongoing income. Are you enjoying our video? Before we get further into the video, then make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on more amazing videos from us. Let's continue with the scenario. Now, in order to repay your credit or loans, you need to map out a smart strategy that is realistic for you to follow. Your counselor can help you put the plan together, but ensure you follow them strictly. Number 1, list every single debt that you owe. It could be student loans, mortgages, debt store cards, etc., with interest rates. Make a chart of debts or loans either from the highest interest rate to the lowest rate, vice versa. Most people will start by listing the highest interest rate, for example, student loans $1,000 at 40%, mortgage $500 at 15%, debt store cards $3,500 at 5%. It seems logical to take off the big ones with higher rates, yes? But let's switch things over. How about paying off the debt that gives you psychological problems because of their deadlines? Now taking that one off the chart, you realize that you are a bit more relaxed and you can say to yourself, yes, I can do this. Surely and slowly, you will. Number 2, have a side hustle. You must understand money is a tool for you. Now, if you do a survey on your income and it doesn't match up to the lifestyle you desire or paying off your debts in 3 or 6 months, then you need to focus on increasing your income. It could be anything, especially if it's something you love doing. Starting a blog, teaching after-school classes, there are all kinds of things, something that could bring more money to you. Even so, this work can also deliver value to yourself while you have something extra to pay your debts. Number 3, budget your expenses. You need to list out what you need, not what you want. You ought to keep your expenses low. Don't go buying that outfit or owning the newest model of gadget or the latest kicks that would sink you down into more debt and stress. It's about being debt-free here, so it's advisable to turn down the notch a bit in terms of spending. Take the subway or bus if you must. Take walks. It is healthier. Cook your food because it's healthier. Make your coffee. With these little changes, you come to realize you tend to have bucks to spare. As we have covered, debt is not evil. It is simply a financial tool. It is our mismanagement of that tool that causes so much pain and suffering. And with that being said, it's time to end our video, but before that, we want to know how you feel about this. You know what to do. See you in the comments section. I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.